name's Greg Holiday, and one of the things in my life that I've always thought about and always been a part of my life probably because of the way I came from, where I came from, and where I grew up and stuff is being involved in people's lives. And I always did it. I did a lot of it through ministry in different ways, and I didn't do it for profit. I didn't do it thinking I could go out and build something and be profitable from it. But I've always understood that there was a desire and need in my life to help other people, to change their lives, and do great things with their lives. And I kind of think it's that DNA thing that I had, that I was born with, and this determined natural ambition that someday you're going to do something great with your life. And I didn't reflect that as a student. I didn't reflect it in a lot of activities in my life, but it was deep down inside. There was this passion and this desire to be an impact guy, to be an impact player. And so I think that's always been the driving force of my life. And so, no matter what I did, I played football, as a captain of the football team. I was just kind of this leader because I always had this passion, maybe a little bit more than a lot of people, to do something significant. And it came in athletics and sports and in different ways, relationships, ministry, and then eventually in this business. And once I saw this business, the business opportunity, kind of came to one with me. I started to realize that this is exactly what I've been looking for. Because in this business, if I change lives, I grow myself. If I change lives, I'm challenged. If I change lives and help people have what they like, what they want in life, then I can accomplish the things I want. And I got it really early. Really early on. And I think I've been prepared for a lot of years, and a lot of that preparation came from struggle. And struggle is less painful than regret. So the struggle of my life, I accepted it and knew that it was going to do somehow. It was tenuring me and getting prepared for something greater in my life. So I've always been an overcomer, an achiever, and especially in the area of relationships with people. And I've always had this passionate heart to change their lives and make a difference. And that's kind of what drives me even now. I'm 62 years old and fired up about life, more excited than I've ever been my whole life. And I think it's just because when you do what you love, you stay passionate about it. You are passionate about it. And that's exactly what drives me every single day when I get up. It's just waking up and knowing that I've got an appointment somewhere to make a difference. And that's what I love. Well, I think the fascination with this company that blew my mind, especially for those of us that have been in other companies. I was in one company for 25 years, the only one I built. I was passionate about it. I loved it. I was on the board of directors and had a relationship with the ownership and those kinds of things. But I knew if I ever stepped back into the industry, it had to be a company that had a culture, a company that the corporate culture matched the field culture. So when I sat down with the owners of this company, I started asking questions. I'm a question asker. I think that's what makes us successful, if we understand network marketing and really understand the business. When we become a question asker, then we start to learn about people. I always say to listen to their story before you tell them theirs. And so I sat down with the owner of this company and I asked him for his story. And when he started telling his story, he didn't speak of things. He didn't speak of all his successes. He didn't speak of all the things they've done. He talked about all the things they want to do. And that blew my mind. That's so unusual because most of the time in all my journey through all the years of business, I sit down with business owners and the first thing they tell you is all that they've accomplished, everything they've done. They're trying to win you over by telling you all their great accomplishments. But I sat down with the ownership of this company, and I sat down with Isaac, and he didn't talk about all the things they've done, even though they were an $800 million company in 8 years, even though they were multi-millionaires, even though they brought a family together and created wealth within a family community. He just kept talking about where they were going. And I knew for me, if I was going to get involved in a business, I wanted to be in a business that was going somewhere, that had a vision for the future. It wasn't living on the accolades of the past. And so to sit down and spend time with him and hear his dream and significance, he used that word. And that's a word it's always been one of my words in my life that I use when I speak to audiences and crowds, is significance. What people want, they want to matter, they want to feel valued, they want to feel important. And so I know that's the premise and that's the heart of people all over the world. And so when I sat down and he used that one word, he said, Greg, I just want to be significant. Man, it was like a light went on for me. Wow, I don't hear that from people. And I did. And then when I started being around the other family members and I started being around the leadership in this business, I saw something that was, I call it one heart, many hands. One heart, many hands. That doesn't happen in the industry. You don't see a corporate heart the same as the fields. You see a corporate heart driven by money, driven by success, driven by numbers. Then you see a field driven by passion, driven by heart, driven by life change. And when you see a corporate that their main focus is life change, their main focus is changing lives and seeing people become significant, and then you take a field driven by the same thing, that's an unstoppable plan. I mean, that's unstoppable for me. And I just thank God that I could be in the beginning and help create that culture, and just water that fertile ground for growth in this company. That's what got me